Carter opened his eyes slowly. The light above him flickered like a broken bulb. His head throbbed. He tried to move, but his arms were heavy. The air felt thick, almost damp, and smelled like old metal. He sat up on a metal floor and looked. The room was small and round, with no windows. There were no doors, either, only smooth gray walls with strange lines glowing faintly. A low hum came from the floor. Like a deep vibration dot across from him stood an alien woman. Tall, slim, with pale blue skin and eyes like silver glass. She stared at him, calm and quiet. Her hands were behind her back, and her long black hair floated slightly. Like there was less gravity in the room. Carter blinked. "Who are you? Where am I?" The alien woman didn't speak. Instead, she walked to a panel on the wall and placed her hand on it. A soft sound echoed clunk like a heavy lock falling into place. The room vibrated, and a red line glowed where a seam had been. She turned to him and said in a quiet voice, "It's time." Carter felt a chill run through his spine. Time for what? Again, she didn't answer. "Wait, what did you just lock?" he asked, standing up now. His legs were shaky, but the fear in his chest gave him strength. He walked to the panel. It didn't open. He pressed it, hit it, nothing happened. "What is this?" he shouted. Looking back at her, she finally spoke. "You ask many questions. You'll find answers soon." He stared at her. "Am I a prisoner?" She tilted her head. "No, but you can't leave." "Not yet." "That's the same thing." "No," she said softly. "You're here for a reason." The glowing lines on the wall started to shift. They moved slowly, forming new patterns. The hum from the floor grew louder, deeper. Carter stepped back from the panel and looked at the walls. "What is this place?" "Trial, a forge, a ship, a ship." He looked up. The ceiling was curved like a dome. No screens, no control panels, no crew. Just the two of them. She sat down in the center of the room, legs crossed. "You were chosen." "By who?" "Not me." He laughed without humor. "Great. I get kidnapped, thrown in a weird room, locked in with an alien woman who won't explain anything. And now I'm supposed to feel lucky, not lucky, necessary." Carter rubbed his face. This wasn't the mission he signed up for. He was just a systems technician. He fixed engine coils, ran ship diagnostics, and occasionally told jokes that no one laughed at. He wasn't a soldier, not even close. "What's your name?" he asked, voice calmer. "Vela. Vela. Okay, I'm Carter. Can you at least tell me why I'm here?" She looked at him for a long moment. The ship responds to human thought, but only to those who have lost something. Carter froze. "What did you say?" "The ship listens to pain, regret, fear. It reads the heart." Carter didn't answer. He sat down, far from her. The ship slowed, became steady again. "Why me?" he whispered. "Because you're broken," Vale said, but not cruelly. Her voice was soft, almost kind. "You know nothing about me." "I know enough." The lines on the floor lit up under her. Then, slowly, they glowed under him too. A symbol formed between them, something ancient, circular, always moving. The air in the room changed. Heavier now, thicker. Carter felt his chest tighten. "This place, is it alive?" Vela nodded. "In a way, it wants to understand you." "Why me?" he repeated. She didn't answer this time. Carter leaned back and closed his eyes. Memories came uninvited. His brother's face, the last argument, the explosion that took everything. He pushed it away. When he opened his eyes again, the room was dimmer. Vela was still sitting quietly. The lines on the wall were still moving. "Vela, yes, is there really no way out?" "Not until the ship allows it." He stood up. "Then we need to make it allow it." She looked up at him. "Only you can do that." The hum beneath his feet felt like a heartbeat now. The ship was waiting. Carter didn't know what came next. But one thing was clear, this wasn't just about him anymore. And there really was no exit. Carter stared at the glowing lines on the walls. They shifted slowly, like they were alive. The hum beneath his feet pulsed like a quiet heartbeat. He rubbed his temples, trying to think clearly. "Vela," he said softly, "what exactly is this ship? How can a room lock itself and change shape?" Vela stood and walked to the center of the room. This is no ordinary ship. It is built from old technology, something forgotten by most of the galaxy. It does not have buttons or levers. It listens to thoughts and feelings. It changes according to the mind inside. Carter shook his head. So, it reads us like it knows what we think. Yes, and it reacts, she said. It tests us to find the one who can command it. And you think that's me? Vela nodded slowly. You have something inside you that it needs. Carter looked away. I'm no hero. I'm just a mechanic. The ship must be broken if it chose me. Vela smiled faintly. Strength is not always in muscles or weapons. Sometimes it is in the will to survive. Carter looked back at the glowing floor. A new shape had appeared in an orb with lines moving inside it. It looked like a map. What's that? He asked. A star map, Vela said. The ship shows us the path, but the path is not fixed. It changes with each choice we make. Carter felt a cold breeze, though there was no window or door. The air felt thinner, lighter. He took a deep breath. How long have you been here? Too long, she said. Years, maybe decades. Why didn't you leave? The ship never lets me go. Until it finds its pilot, Carter frowned. And you think that pilot is me? Vela's eyes met his. I do. He sat down heavily. And if I fail? Then we are trapped forever. Or worse, lost to the ship's will. Carter felt a weight settle on his chest. This place is alive, and it's hungry for control. Vela knelt beside him. But it also listens. It wants to understand humans. It chooses those who have faced loss and pain. It believes they are strong enough to control it. Carter closed his eyes. He thought about his brother, his lost brother, and the promise he failed to keep. I don't want this. No one wants it at first, she said quietly. A sudden flash of light burst from the wall. Carter jumped. A new panel appeared, glowing with soft blue light. Words formed in a strange language, then shifted to English. Challenge accepted. It read. Vela stood. It's giving us the first test. Carter looked at her. Test? What kind of test? A puzzle. The ship demands we solve it. On the panel, a shape appeared, a three-dimensional cube with glowing sides. Each side had symbols matching. The lines on the floor. Carter reached out. The cube rotated slowly in his hand, as if it was weightless. He touched one side, and it glowed brighter. I think we have to match the symbols on the cube with those on the floor, he said. Vela nodded. But be careful. The ship punishes mistakes. Carter studied the glowing lines on the floor. They moved slowly, changing shape every few seconds. He tried to remember the order. Ready? He asked. Vela nodded. Carter pressed the side of the cube that matched the first symbol on the floor. It beeped softly. He continued, matching the symbols one by one. When he made a mistake, the room shuddered, and a cold wave hit his skin. He pulled his hand back quickly. That was close, Vela said. The ship is testing your patience. Carter took a deep breath and tried again. This time, he moved slower, watching the floor carefully. After a few minutes, the cube glowed white and disappeared. The room grew quiet. Vela smiled. Well done. Carter looked up. What now? The wall started to shift again. A hidden door slid open on one side. It revealed a narrow hallway with glowing blue lights. The ship opens new paths only when you succeed, Vela explained. Carter stood and walked towards the hallway. What's down there? More tests, more truths. As he stepped into the hallway, the door closed behind them with a soft hiss. The hallway was long and curved. Small windows showed stars passing by at incredible speed. Carter felt a strange calm settle over him. This ship is fast, he said, amazed. It moves through space and time differently, Vela said. Inside, moments can stretch or shrink. Carter touched one window and saw a memory, his home planet, green and full of life. Then it changed to a battle scene, explosions and screams echoing. Why show me this? He asked. To remind you what you fight for, Vela said. And what you fear to lose? Carter's breath caught. The memory faded. Vela stopped walking. We are not alone. Carter looked around. He saw shadows moving at the edge of the light, shapes forming, Creatures unknown. Enemies? He asked. Tess, she said. The ship creates what your mind fears. Carter felt his heart pound. The creatures came closer, dark shapes. With glowing eyes, he raised his hands, ready to defend, but Vale touched his arm. Calm. Fear feeds them. Strength pushes them away. Carter closed his eyes and breathed deeply. The creatures paused, then vanished into smoke. When he opened his eyes, Vale smiled. You're learning. Carter nodded slowly. This ship is teaching me, but I'm not sure what it wants. Vale looked at the stars outside the window. To find its pilot, Carter swallowed hard. And what if I don't want to be that? Vale's voice was soft but firm. You don't get to choose. Not anymore. The hallway ended in a door of pure light. It opened slowly. Ready? Vale asked. Carter nodded. They stepped through and into the unknown. Carter and Vale stepped through the glowing door and found themselves in a vast chamber. The walls were smooth and curved, glowing softly with blue light. The air was cooler here, and a faint smell of ozone filled the space. Carter looked around in awe. This place felt alive, like it was breathing. Vale walked ahead, her footsteps silent. This is the core, she said. The heart of the ship. Carter approached. A tall console made of glass and metal. Strange symbols floated above it, shifting slowly. He reached out, and the symbols moved faster, reacting to his touch. What is this? He asked. It's the ship's memory, Vale said. Everything. It is seen, heard, and felt. It stores all knowledge here. Carter frowned. But why keep all this? Who built a ship like this? Vale hesitated. The builders are long gone. Only their machines remain. This ship was made to explore, to learn, and to protect. Carter studied the symbols. One showed stars exploding. Another showed strange creatures, and yet another showed peaceful worlds full of life. It's like a history book, he said quietly, but written by a machine. Vale nodded. Yes, but it is more than that. It is a guardian. Carter looked up. Guardian of what? Vale's eyes darkened. Of peace. And of power. Suddenly, the chamber shook. The lights flickered. A deep voice echoed through the room, a voice that was both everywhere and nowhere. Pilot. Are you ready? Carter's heart jumped. Who's there? Vale stepped beside him. The ship is speaking. Pilot. The voice repeated, calm and steady. To command me, you must prove your worth. Carter swallowed hard. Prove my worth how? By facing your fears, Vale said. The room changed. The walls dissolved into mist. Carter found himself alone in a dark forest. Tall trees surrounded him, their branches twisting into strange shapes. The ground was soft and covered in thick moss. He looked around. The forest was silent, too silent. Then, from the shadows, came a low growl. Carter's breath caught. A large creature stepped into the moonlight. It had glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, and for that looked like burning embers. Carter took a step back. Vale. But there was no answer. The creature growled again and moved closer. Carter's heart pounded. In his chest, he wanted to run, but his feet felt heavy. Then he heard a voice not from outside, but inside his mind. Face it. This is your fear. Carter closed his eyes and thought about his brother lost in a fire. He could not stop. The pain, the guilt, the shame. The creature roared and lunged at him. Carter opened his eyes just in time. He dodged and rolled away, breathing hard. He looked around for a weapon, but found none. Then he remembered something Vale said. Strength is in will. He stood up slowly and faced the creature. I'm not afraid, he said aloud, though his voice shook. The creature hesitated. Carter reached out his hand, not to fight, but to touch. The creature stopped. Its eyes softened. The flames in its were dimmed. Carter whispered, I'm sorry. I couldn't save him. The creature bowed its head and vanished. The forest disappeared. Carter was back in the chamber, with Vale watching him. You faced your fear, she said, and the ship accepts you. Carter wiped sweat from his brow. This was just a test, one of many. Vale said. Carter looked around. The symbols on the console had changed. A new map appeared, showing a route through a star system unfamiliar to him. Where's this? He asked. The ship's next destination, Vale replied. A place where your next challenge awaits. Carter frowned. Why me? Why is the ship choosing me for all this? Vale sighed. Because you carry a human heart full of pain, hope, and the will to survive. Carter shook his head. I don't feel special. I feel lost. Vale smiled. Gently. Sometimes, the lost are the ones who find their way. A soft beep came from the console. A new message appeared. Pilot, the time has come to decide. Carter looked at Vela. Decide what? Vela's eyes were serious. Whether to accept the power of the ship, to become its guardian, or to leave. Knowing what you've seen and risking never returning home. Carter's mind raced. Power. Guardian? Home? The thought of leaving was tempting, but so was the fear of what might happen if he refused Vela. He said slowly, What happens if I say no? Vela's voice was calm but firm. The ship will close. It will hide again, and no one else will find it. But you may never leave this place. Carter felt a cold shiver. The choice was clear, but terrifying. And if I say yes, you will become part of the ship. Its pilot, its protector. And the galaxy will never be the same. Carter looked at the star map again. A small dot blinked near the edge of the system. This place, he said. Is it dangerous? Vela nodded. Very. But it is where the ship needs you most. Carter took a deep breath and stepped back from the console. Give me time, he said. Vela smiled softly. Time is what the ship will give you. But not forever. Carter closed his eyes and tried to calm his racing heart. He did not know what to choose. But he knew this was only the beginning. Carter sat on the cold floor of the chamber, staring at the glowing star map before him. The blinking dot still marked a distant planet dark, small, almost forgotten. He did not know why the ship wanted him to go there, but something inside told him it was important. Vela sat beside him, her eyes watching his every move. You're thinking about the choice, she said softly. Carter nodded. How can I accept this? To become part of a ship, to leave everything I know behind? Vela looked up at the ceiling. Sometimes, the hardest path is the one that leads to growth. Carter's thoughts drifted to his brother again. The promise he failed to keep. The guilt that weighed on him like a stone. He wondered if this ship, this strange place, was some way to fix his past. Vela, he said quietly. What happens if I accept? Will I lose myself? Vela smiled gently. You will change, but you will keep what makes you human. The hum in the room grew louder, filling the silence between them. The ship seemed to wait, watching. I don't want to be a hero, Carter admitted. I'm scared. Fear is natural, Vale said. But the ship chooses those who feel fear and act anyway. The lights on the wall shifted again, showing a new scene, a hologram of a battle long ago. Ships fighting, explosions lighting up the darkness of space. This is the galaxy's past. Vela explained, a time of war and loss. Carter watched the images carefully. Why show me this now? Because your choice will affect the future, she said. The ship guards more than itself. It guards peace. Carter felt a sudden urge to stand. Then I want to know everything. How to use this power. How to protect. Vela nodded. That is the way forward. Suddenly, the chamber shook. A door slid open to reveal a narrow corridor. Blue lights guided the way. The ship is ready to teach, Vale said. Will you follow? Carter took a deep breath and stepped into the corridor. Vale followed closely. The hallway was long and curved. Soft music filled the air, a strange melody that made Carter feel calm and alert at the same time. As they walked, Carter saw images flash along the walls, people from different worlds, working together, smiling, sharing knowledge. This ship remembers hope, Vale said, not just war. Carter stopped to watch a scene of humans and aliens building a city. He smiled. Maybe this is what I'm meant to protect. Vale looked at him. The ship will test that hope. They reached a large room filled with crystals glowing in many colors. The air was warm and sweet. Vela stepped forward. This is the training chamber. The ship uses these crystals to help you learn. Carter reached out and touched one. It shone brightly, and a rush of images filled his mind skills. Knowledge, memories not his own. He gasped and pulled back. This is overwhelming. Vela nodded. The ship shares knowledge, but you must choose what to keep. Carter took another deep breath and touched the crystal again. This time, he focused on understanding, not absorbing everything at once. Slowly, the images made sense. He learned about ship systems, alien technology, and the history of the galaxy. Vela smiled. You are a quick learner. Carter grinned. I have to be. As the training ended, the crystals dimmed. Carter felt tired but stronger. There's one more lesson, Vela said. You must face the ship's will. Carter frowned. What does that mean? Vela led him to a small platform in the center of the room. It glowed softly. Stand. Here, she said. Carter obeyed. The platform hummed, and a soft light surrounded him. He felt his thoughts slowing, his body lighter. Then, a voice spoke inside his mind, not loud, but clear. Why do you fear? Carter thought of his brother, the loss, the regret. What do you want? Carter wished to protect, to heal, to make things right. Will you accept the burden? Carter's heart pounded. He thought of the ship, the galaxy, Vela, and the unknown ahead. Yes, he whispered. The light around him grew brighter. He felt a warmth spread through his body. When the light faded, Carter opened his eyes. Vela smiled, tears shining in her silver eyes. You have accepted. The room brightened. The crystals shone like stars. Carter looked at the star map again. The blinking dot moved closer, ready to guide him. What happens now? He asked. Now, you become the pilot, Vela said, the guardian of this ship, and the hope of many. Carter stood tall, feeling the weight of his new role. He did not know what dangers awaited on the distant planet, but he was ready to face them. Because sometimes, being human meant standing strong even when the path was unknown. Carter stood at the edge of the ship's bridge, staring out at the vast stars beyond. The distant planet glowed faintly on the star map, drawing closer with every passing moment. Vela was beside him, silent but alert. This place, Carter said softly. Why is the ship sending me there? Vela's eyes were steady. It holds an ancient secret, something the ship needs to protect, and you need to face. Carter frowned. What kind of secret? Vela hesitated. Something dangerous. A soft alarm sounded. The ship shook gently, as if waking from a long sleep. We are approaching, Vela said. Prepare yourself. Carter took a deep breath. He felt the weight of his new role settle over him, a heavy but clear purpose. The ship moved smoothly, faster than anything Carter had ever seen. Stars stretched into lines, then snapped back into points. Soon, the planet filled the windows dark, covered in jagged mountains and deep blue oceans. Strange lights flickered across its surface. This is no ordinary world, Vela said. It is a sanctuary and a battlefield. As the ship descended, Carter felt tension rise. The air grew thick with unknown energy. The ship landed softly in a hidden valley. Carter and Vela stepped out into a strange world. The sky was a dark purple, stars bright and unfamiliar. The ground beneath their feet pulsed with life. This place is alive, Carter said, eyes wide. Vela nodded. It tests those who enter. They walked toward a large stone gate covered in glowing runes. The gate pulsed with energy, blocking their path. Vela reached out and touched the runes. To enter, you must prove your will. Carter stepped forward. The runes flashed, and a voice echoed in his mind. What do you seek? Carter thought carefully. Peace, understanding, protection. The runes glowed brighter. And what will you sacrifice? Carter hesitated. My fears, my doubts. The gate shimmered and slowly opened, revealing a dark tunnel. Vela smiled. You passed. Inside the tunnel, shadows danced on the walls. Strange whispers filled the air. Carter gripped his arm tightly. This feels like a test. Vela nodded. It is. They moved deeper, the whispers growing louder. Suddenly, a figure appeared, a tall alien warrior with glowing eyes and sharp armor. Who enters the sanctuary? The warrior demanded. Vela stepped forward. We come seeking the truth. The warrior studied Carter. The ship chose him. Carter felt the warrior's gaze like fire. Prove it. Without warning, the warrior lunged. Carter barely dodged, stumbling back. Vela shouted. Use your mind, Carter. The ship responds to thought. Carter closed his eyes and focused. He imagined the shield a bright, strong wall of light. When he opened his eyes, the shield shimmered around him. The warrior's strike hit the shield and bounced back. Carter smiled, growing more confident. "This is the ship's power," Vela said. "But it needs your will to control it." The warrior nodded slowly. "Then fight with heart, not anger." The battle continued. Carter learned to use the shield, to push and pull energy with his mind. Slowly, the warrior stopped attacking and lowered his weapon. "You have proven yourself," he said. "The sanctuary accepts you." Vela smiled proudly. "The ship's tests are not only of strength, but of spirit." Carter felt a calm wash over him. He was still scared, but stronger. They continued through the tunnel, finding a chamber filled with ancient technology machines and crystals glowing softly. Vela explained. "This is the heart of the sanctuary. It holds knowledge lost to time." Carter approached the console and touched it. Images of distant galaxies, forgotten wars, and peaceful alliances filled his mind. "This knowledge is now yours," Vela said. "Use it wisely." Carter nodded. "I will." As they left the chamber, the whispers faded. The tunnel opened to a clearing bathed in soft light. Vela looked at Carter. "You have come far, but the journey is not over." Carter looked at the stars. He knew there would be more challenges ahead, more tests. But for now, he had found strength. "Let's go," he said. Vela smiled. "The ship is ready for the next step." Together, they walked toward the ship, ready to face whatever came next. Carter stood on the ship's bridge, looking out at the stars. The distant planet was now behind them, and the ship moved swiftly through space. Vela stood nearby, her eyes fixed on the glowing control panels. "You have done well," she said softly. "The ship trusts you more each day." Carter smiled. Weakly, "It still feels strange, like I'm not ready." Vela shook her head. "No one is ever ready. The ship chooses, then teaches." The ship hummed beneath their feet, a steady pulse like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the lights dimmed, and an alarm sounded, a low, warning tone. "What is it?" Carter asked, standing straight. Vela's face was serious. "Danger. Something approaches." Outside the ship, sensors showed an incoming fleet, large warships from an unknown alien race. Their shapes were dark and menacing, engines burning bright. Carter felt a cold rush of fear. "Are they enemies?" Vela nodded. "They seek the ship. They want its power." Carter's mind raced. He was still learning to control the ship, still unsure of his own strength. But now, the ship and all its secrets were under threat. "What do we do?" he asked. "We prepare to defend," Vela said. "But remember, this ship is unlike any other. It fights with the will of its pilot." Carter took a deep breath. He placed his hands on the control panel. Energy flowed through him, connecting his thoughts to the ship. The warships closed in, weapons charging. Carter focused. He imagined a shield strong and bright surrounding the ship. The ship responded. A glowing barrier appeared outside, shimmering in space. The enemy fire hit the shield but bounced away harmlessly. Vela smiled. "Your mind guides the ship's defenses." Carter nodded, feeling a new confidence. But the enemy was not giving up. They sent small attack ships to try to break through. Carter raised his hands. Energy shot from the ship like beams of light, striking the attackers. Vela watched closely. "Your control grows stronger." The battle raged. The ship moved like a living creature, dodging attacks, striking back. Carter felt his body tire, but his mind stayed sharp. He reached deeper into the ship's power. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. One of the enemy's weapons hit the hull. Vela shouted, "The ship is hurt. Focus." Carter closed his eyes, pushing through the pain. He focused on healing energy, imagining the ship's wounds closing. Slowly, the damage repaired. The enemy ships began to retreat, defeated by the strange power of the vessel. Carter let out a breath he didn't know he held. Vela smiled warmly. "You saved the ship, and yourself." Carter looked at her. "We saved it together." Vela nodded. "You are no longer just a pilot. You are its guardian." Carter felt a strange peace. The fear was still there, but it no longer controlled him. "What now?" he asked. "Now, we find the truth behind the enemy's attack," Vela said. There's more at stake than you know. Carter looked out at the stars. The galaxy was wide, full of dangers and mysteries. But for the first time, he felt ready. He turned to Vela. Let's find those answers together. Vela smiled. Always. The ship moved forward, carrying them into the unknown. Carter stood on the bridge, the stars spreading out like diamonds before him. The ship hummed softly, a steady rhythm that matched his own heartbeat. Beside him, Vela watched the controls. With quiet focus, "We have survived the attack," she said. "But the danger is not over." Carter nodded. "Why did they want this ship so badly?" Vela's eyes darkened. "Because it holds power that could change the galaxy." Carter felt a weight settle on his shoulders. The responsibility was enormous. He was not just a man now. He was the ship's pilot, its guardian. "What power?" he asked. Vela pointed to the star map. "The ship can open doors, gateways to places no one else can reach. Places of great knowledge and danger." Carter stared at the blinking dots on the map paths through space. That looked like threads weaving a vast web. "These gateways," Carter said slowly, "they could bring peace or war." Vela nodded. "And many would kill to control them." Soft alarms sounded. The ship's sensors picked up a signal of distress call from a distant world. Vela's eyes sharpened. "They need help." Carter felt a rush of purpose. "Then that's where we go." The ship moved quickly, weaving through stars. Carter's mind was calm now, connected to the ship's power. As they neared the source, a planet came into view, beautiful but scarred by battle. On the surface, cities lay in ruins, smoke rising into the sky. "This is no ordinary call," Vela said. "It is a plea for survival." Carter prepared the ship to land. Outside, alien ships flew low, fighting ground forces. The battle was desperate. Vela. Carter said, "How do we help without becoming part of the war?" Vela smiled. "With strength and heart." The ship's shields glowed bright as they landed near the battlefield. Soldiers and civilians looked up in shock and hope. Carter stepped out. Feeling the weight of eyes upon him, he saw fear, pain, but also courage. Vela joined him. "This is why the ship chose you." Carter raised his hand. The ship responded, sending waves of healing energy over the wounded. People gasped as wounds closed and hope returned. Carter turned to the commanders. "We are here to help, to protect." A leader approached a tall alien with tired eyes. "Then fight with us." Carter nodded. "We will." The battle continued, but now the tide was turning. Carter guided the ship's power, shielding allies and weakening enemies. Vela fought beside him, fierce and calm. Slowly, the enemy retreated. When silence fell, Carter looked at the grateful faces around him. "This is what I was meant for," he said softly. Vela smiled. "You found your path." Carter looked up at the stars, feeling stronger than ever. The ship was no longer just a room with no exit. It was a new beginning.